to help me on my life. I got Mom, I got Mary, and yours, and Daniel Warren, and Tom and John.
Billy's siblings had gone to college, and he wanted to go to college. It was a really tough time. The expectation for most kids after they finished high school at that time was either to stay at home, which we were not willing to do, or to go into a sheltered workshop. This sheltered workshop was allied with a junior college, and they actually promised us that he would be able to graduate. So he started working there, and he entered the group home. He was in that situation for 2 years, very bad 2 years. He was moved from the original group home, which had 7 young people in it, to one where he had a roommate. And then finally, they moved him into a place by himself, thinking he would like that better, which he really did, except that it was a cabin in a condemned tourist court. Very poor situation. His landlord didn't follow through on any things he was supposed to do, and my husband and I would go over and see him on the weekends, and we would see that he was living in substandard living situation. While he was there for 2 years, he gained 30 pounds, and he faces a weight problem anyway, so that was pretty bad. And we went over to observe, and the tasks he was doing were so boring that he fell asleep on the job. I would have too. We decided we could do better than that. So we brought him home. He didn't want to live back at home. So we rented a trailer for him across the street, and he really did like that.
I got my own trailer by myself. Then my mom going to hit hers, and I'm going to do mine.
Bill's dad was very involved with Billy in a lot of things. He was proactive in finding out all of the benefits that Billy was entitled to. In fact, I was the one who worried about the school situation, and Bill was the one who investigated such things as food stamps, which we decided not to use, but he was eligible for them, and his Social Security disability. The main thing in which he helped me in particular was in transporting Billy. Bill worked for himself. He sold real estate, and I was teaching, so I was not free to do that sort of thing. But he always picked him up at work and took him to work, took him for doctor's appointments and things like that. And during that time, they had these little games that they would play and sort of a lot of rituals, so they were very close. My husband had a stroke, a severe stroke, and he was ill for 10 years. During the first part of that, the first 5 years, he was at home. At that time, Billy was living in a trailer behind our house, near our house.
I like my trailer a lot. I miss it.
And that's when I realized that Billy was such a help to me and that I really needed him. He just helped me in so many ways with his dad. My husband was a big man, and he would fall frequently. I couldn't pick him up, and I would say, "Billy, I need you." And he'd say, "Mom, I'll be right there." And he was there on the spot. Then when Bill went into a nursing home, when it got so I really couldn't manage, that was a time when they had some cutbacks at the library, and Billy's hours were diminished. So we needed another job for him, not as much for the money as the fact that for him to sit home for hours and hours is really detrimental to his development. He sort of lives with me. Actually, we kind of have parallel lives.
You go to church, on the usher in church, pass the offering plate to the people in church. It's like a little necklace, and right there be usher on it. And then to the offering plate, to the people, put the money in the offering plate. To offering plate to the minister. I like our church. I help my mom plants outside. I help my mom get the trash together and just borrow the porch and everything. Well, I love her. So nice to me, and I like her a lot. Oh, I love it. Peace and quiet. I stay up a lot and watch Conan O'Brien. I love my apartment, and I love that barbecue spare ribs.
When we moved here to Kingsport, Tennessee, we built a house. It was on a hill, so that it made it possible for us to put an apartment under the portion of my house. So he has a living room, a bedroom, and a bathroom, and a bar.
Got me a bar. Now I got me a little fridge here.
We compromised on the bar because one of the reasons that we didn't want him to live totally separate was that he had gotten careless with his meals, and when I would go up to his trailer in the evening, I would see food left out and all. It just was no longer a healthy situation for him. I think he really likes having meals with me, and we finish a meal, he goes downstairs and I stay upstairs.
After dinner, I come over here and watch TV.
Sometimes we watch movies together and things like that, but our tastes differ somewhat as far as movies are concerned. And if I'm out of town, he can prepare his own meals. Usually microwave. He's a whiz with the microwave. I don't see that as a possibility for him to be entirely alone.
I like it here with my new place.
I think whatever happens, he will need supervision. We have looked into that, of course, and one reason we moved here is to be near my daughter and her family, and they have been so good with helping with him.
I love it here to live with close to Mary Ann Yost and Daniel Warren.
And in the event of my death, I think that they would supervise whatever he does. But he has a case manager. Before we moved here, I came up and investigated the possibilities. There's a division of mental retardation in every state, so that's a good place to start, good place for parents to know about. And they told me what services were available. So we have a case manager who comes to see us about once a year, but she's on call if we need her. And Billy is categorized as needing services, but not immediately. And so I sort of think of him in those terms. He needs services from outside, but not immediately. And one of the last meeting he was involved in also, and I asked about independent living, like apartment living and so forth. And here, as in most places now, instead of the group home that was popular 20 years ago, they're going more to supervised apartment living.
This is my patio, and my mom's up there.
Which is much more like normal, A group home being mentally retarded is not a good way to be grouped. So anyway, that sort of appealed to him. I think he still would like to have his own place because he really liked having his trailer and all. So I see that as a possibility. I also see the possibility of, someone moving in here, maybe temporarily until things got situated. Someone we could hire, or they could hire in that case. So there are some options and some possibilities, and of course we discuss those. But, I think we have been so close that I think the initial bereavement would be pretty drastic.
I like it here better. I just feel happy. That's it.